Hi! It has been more than 6 months since I made a backlog video. So if you've been wondering how you can manage your backlog, well, you came to the right place because in today's video I'll be talking about just that. So that being said,
Let's get into the intro.
Hi and welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Vashral and this is Tellplay, and in today's video, as I said, I'll make a guide where I'll be sharing with you a couple of tips on how you can manage your backlog so that it's gonna be easier for you to tackle it and know exactly what will be your plan next. You know very well that on this channel I do talk about this kind of stuff, and maybe some of you who have been following me have been wondering why I don't make any more backlog videos. So I know that it has been a while, so in today's video I'll be talking about that. So let's get into the tips. Right, so for the first tip, and the most important one, at least for me, is to tag or categorize your games. And here I'll be talking more in depth because this is the main one that really drive me to manage more my backlog. These are the things that I apply on a day-to-day basis. Every time I get a new game, I normally like to tag it. And I tag it in a couple of ways where I basically try to use a couple of tools in order to get information for this game so that I can better manage my time and spend enough time tackling my games. So mainly what I use is a website called backlogassassins.net. Now, to apply for this website, you do need to go through a couple of steps, especially be a member of a group called Backlog Assassins. I will put all the information in the description down below. And basically what you need to do is to sign up over there in order for you to do so, as there's a very easy way to manage your backlog with one extra tool or extension that I will be showing you in this video. So I'll begin just showing you that. So welcome, this is my Backlog Assassin profile where I'll be showing everything about the games that I play, the way I manage them, and how easy it is for me to sort games based on their length. So there are two things that you need to keep in mind. First, how long you're gonna spend with a particular game, and second, what type of game that is. Some games such as RPGs, JRPGs will normally and typically take longer. Sometimes there will be less of a hassle when it comes to playthroughs, but if they're decision based or anything like that, they're definitely gonna take you a lot more to accomplish. So what I like to do is to sort them out based on their length. As a particular completionist, I take my time with a lot of games, and when I manage them, I like to manage them based on how much time I spend, and that way I know exactly what I need to do next. So for example, if I want to go and play a couple of games in quarter, like 3 months, I pick maybe 2 short games, 2 medium games, 2 long games, and 1 very long game. And I'll explain each one, how lengthy they are, and of course these are based on the average stats given by how long to beat. That's another website that I'll be talking about later on in this video, where basically the average it takes for you to beat the campaign. But as I said, as a completionist, it takes roughly much more time to complete a game. So a game that might be taking 2 to 8 hours to beat, it might take 8 to 15 hours to complete. So to make things easier, I will show you exactly how simple it is for me to sort all games just by using Backlog Assassins, and as well a tool that was made by a guy that is part of our members called Cubikill. So this is the guy that I'm talking about. Shout out to Cubikill. Hopefully he's watching this video because I cannot recommend his tool enough. And the tool that he is using is called Backlog. Hopefully that's how we spell it. A lot of people who are using it, Backlog, the short version of Backlog Assassins, is basically this tool which works hand in hand with Temper Temper Monkey. So once you get this bad boy installed, first you get Temper Monkey of your favorite browser, and afterwards you can go ahead and install it. So once you get that one, you click install. It should be able to install. For me, it shows to reinstall, but it's simply as that. You just install it and you'll be greeted with a prompt. Now, once you're gonna be in the prompt, you obviously don't have to do anything but to go to settings, and afterwards you go to manage list. Now, before that, if I remember right, you do need to go into the Blau settings and pick a couple of things such as add games by how long to beat time button. And once you do that, if it's not enabled, you will be able to manage your list. So by going there, you can create a list of games however you like, and I created mine just for the example, and I'll be using them in the future where I have very short completion, medium completion, long completion, and very long completion. And here you can see how much time it really takes for me to do that. Now, once you have that one set up, all you have to do is go and add to the list, and you search for the one that you need to add. I put 0 and maximum 10 hours, and then I select the next one, short, and then I have 10 hours to 25 hours. Then I have the medium size, and of course these times can really differ depending on how much time you like to spend. For me, 75 hours is more than a lengthy game, but sometimes I played even lengthier games to complete. So I would say 75 is quite a medium size, a beefy game, if I want to put it like that. Long game, 75 to 100 hours, and whatever is over 100 to maybe 500 hours, which is a heck of a lot of time, I put a very long completion. Now, for that, this section is pretty much complete. Now you can move down and select the next step. For example, if you sorted out your backlog a little bit and you played with a couple of things, you've set up some of the games that you have beaten, some games have you completed, some games will be listed as unfinished, and some games you'll be listing them as you won't play, something you've maybe abandoned or done something of a sort. Of course, if you guys want more explanation about the website, feel free to drop me a comment. I will explain more. But that being said, I'll continue to explain what I will be doing here. So to filter out some things, I don't want to list games that I've completed, and I don't want to list games that I don't intend to play. That is basically the two things that I untick, because all this program is gonna do is gonna list those games, put them in this category based on their hours. Now, the last thing that I like to do is to list them by 100% time to beat. Now, this is the average time. Obviously, if you're a type of person that likes to beat or complete games a lot more quicker or much slower, it's gonna be a little bit different. But this is gonna be the average set by how long to beat. So that being said, you have them like that. You can also sort them if you want by name, by play time, by main time to beat, extra time to beat, and 100 time to beat. Now, I like to put them on 100% time to beat, because that way I will know which one is the shortest one, and it goes all the way down. Now, all I have to do is click preview, and this is gonna sort things out, and it's gonna put them based on just that. And then you can see here how long to beat main, extra, and how long to beat 100%. And they're all set from the lowest to the highest until you reach to 10 minutes. It's not exactly 10 minutes. It will be before 10 minutes, because the short one is gonna start from 10 minutes and beyond. So there you go. You have all this done in the easiest way possible thanks to Cubicill's tool. He's not sponsoring me or anything like that. I really love this tool, and I've been using it like for a couple of months now, and he constantly is improving. So after that, you hit the continue, and of course you just have to wait a couple of seconds, and all the games that were listed here below that there were once 0, they will get filled up with the games and their tags. Now, why is this important? The reason why it's really good to have games listed as tags is because if you have, let's say, a specific target for that particular month, you won't have enough time in the day to actually complete them all or beat them all or play them. And by knowing exactly how much time you're gonna spend, it's gonna be easier for you to manage your time. Managing your time is probably the most important thing when it comes to organizing yourself. So all I have to do now is just refresh, and all the games that I said are listed over there. These are all my games from my library from Steam that are in there. So now they're all sorted out. I can simply go and click on any of them. I can go and modify them if I want to. If I want to change the way things are structured, I can do so. I can view them as they are, as a list. I can view them in this format, so I have a clear view of everything. Here with this tool, you also have a good preview if these games are available for the Steam Deck. So really cool. Thank you so much, Cubicle, for actually making this tool. On top of that, you can tag games from where you get them from. You get them from Humble Bundle, you get them from Fanatical, you get them from giveaways, you get them whatever. You can create what kind of tags you want and add them over there so that you have a better way of managing them. So for example, you're looking for games that you have them installed or you have them sorted by length. All you have to do is simply click that and it will display all the games based on where you got them from. Of course, you have to make those lists yourself and you have to manage them, which might take a while. It will not look the way mine looks because I started organizing them, but at least it will be a good way for you to learn to organize yourself and make things in a much more clear and easier way. Do let me know if you enjoyed this kind of content by smashing the like button, and if you're new to the channel and want to get more content like this, drop me a comment below by telling me what did you like about these tips. And as well, if you're new to the channel, have been a reoccurring viewer, and haven't decided if you want to subscribe yet, well, this is a great time to do so. So all you have to do is subscribe and turn on the bell notification so that you're never gonna miss any time I post something new, especially related to this kind of backlog videos. And of course, if you drop me a comment and let me know that you like this kind of content, I'll be sharing more about this later on. So more people that share their opinion on this kind of videos, the better, because I'll know to make more videos just like this. That being said, let's get back to the tips. My second tip is to regularly review and update your backlog. So periodically review your backlog to reassess your priority and remove games you're no longer interested in playing. This prevents your backlog from becoming cluttered with titles you're unlikely to ever get to. Set aside time monthly or quarterly to update your list. Now this is super important, especially if you are having a massive backlog as I do. I have roughly about 450 games that I constantly add and remove based on my preferences. And of course, if a game series, as I start to play them chronologically, doesn't really hit for me, I tend to give a shot to the sequel. But if the sequel does not hit for me, then I'm more likely to drop the series altogether. For me particularly, this is important because you really need to manage your time with the backlog, especially if some of the games really take a long time to do that. And there's no better way but managing your time and having a little bit of look over the games that you've completed or played, or maybe intended to play but eventually you change your mind. I know that some of you, including myself, sometimes wishlist games on Steam or on other platforms, and months, years pass by. Eventually that game, you purchase it, and then you don't realize what exactly was going through your head at that particular time and why did you get it. Just because you own a game and you have it in your library, it does not mean that it needs to go in the backlog. That is why you need to separate the library with the backlog. Library can be a low priority section where after you played your backlog games, you can integrate more games from there. It doesn't have to be all your games that you contain. If you have thousands of games in your library, you're obviously gonna have an issue. So probably I should have put this in tip number 3. I know that I'm speaking from the top of my head, but it's definitely important that not every single game needs to go there. It's very important to assess your backlog every now and then so that you make sure that everything is in place. For example, if you are trying to manage your backlog and of course you're trying to add games all the time in your backlog, you need to be very careful of what kind of games you're gonna add over there, because eventually you're gonna end up having way too many games that you can tackle. Again, having a backlog does not mean that you have to play play all of them. There are a list over there of games that you want to play as a priority, and you should take them as a priority. Whatever goes outside of that and goes in the library, it goes in the library. You can definitely see, for example, how I manage my games that go in my backlog and the games that go in my library. The games that go in my backlog are much more lower, but still much higher if you're considering the fact that I started doing this since January and we're now at the end of February. So I definitely grew my backlog quite a bit, and I ended up having it to 437. Last year I was much lower, obviously. And here you can see that a lot of games I've added in the library. Do keep in mind that whatever you see here, the layout and everything like that, I made it by learning a little bit how to code and obviously taking inspiration from other people who have been creating all of this stuff. So they're not part of what you see over here. Here you can see the games that I've added to my backlog. These games are only games that I'm mainly interested in just because I've heard so many good things about them, or because I played their prequels and I intend to play them later on. And of course, I will have them sorted out on how I want to play them, when I want to play them, which I'll be talking in later tips. The next thing is my library, which is basically games that I got because I wishlisted and I traded them, or I won them through Steam gifts or other means. I got them through curation, or I got them from developers and they reach out and they gave me the keys, or I got them through bundles and there were games on my wish list, but not particularly were games that I wanted desperately to play, or at least considered that they are a must play right away. So that being said, I put them aside and I moved forward with whatever I thought it was important for me to play. That doesn't mean that these games I will not play. It just means that they're much lower priority and I don't need to focus on them. Now, another tip is to actually manage and schedule your backlog in advance. I know that this can be a little bit daunting for a lot of people, but if you want to have a very good understanding of what you're doing and how you can tackle and use your time wisely, well, using Backlog Assassins and as well the tool that I showed you, you can get a better understanding of the games you're gonna play. And here you can see what I've been playing so far in January until March. I started playing Need for Speed, I played To the Moon, I also played The Room, which I haven't added here for some reason, but I'll be adding it now. And basically you just drag it over there and that's it. So here you can see exactly all the games that I played and I intend to play. Whatever is blue is completed, whatever is green is beaten, and whatever is orange is unfinished. You can also see that I try to put them as installed because games that are installed for me are main priority. I don't want to have so many games installed in my system for no reason and then I end up never finishing them off. And thanks to the tagging, I can get a clear idea of how much time do I need to beat the story and how much time I need to complete the game. I can really easily tell by that and I will know exactly what I need to do to move forward. So for example, I played this game more than half. So I spent 41 hours trying to beat this game and I tried to get every single thing that I could on one playthrough, but I know that this game requires 2 playthroughs, so getting to it will take some time. That is why it is important to know exactly how much time I will spend. So knowing that I'm a completionist and I take my time, I will need roughly between 25 to 75 hours on an average to complete. So it's very important to have this idea in advance so that you can set up whatever games you want to play. Always try to leave some room in order for you to wiggle in other games that you might play. For instance, in February, I managed to wiggle a little bit other games like Mech Arena and Skull and Bones. Games that I'll be talking about in other videos and I'll be sharing more about that. So it's not always that important that you have to go ahead and play the games in that particular order, meaning that you need necessarily to play all of them if you schedule them. Some of the games games you might be able to drop them off. Some of the games you might be able to carry them in other months, but at least you have a clear idea of the games that you'll be going through that particular month or that particular quarter. For me, I like things to be in quarters. It's much more easier to notice things like that because it's less managing and you can add a couple of games in advance. So very easily with this tool, you can add them and put them however you want. For example, in April and June, this is my schedule for whatever games I intend to play. And here you can definitely see how much time is gonna take me to play all of them. And based on that, how much time. But this is very important for you because if you have a clear idea of how you're gonna tackle your backlog, you're gonna have a much more easier time to move on and complete or beat or try out new games all the time. Final tip that I wanna share with you is to prioritize your games, and I mean your backlog, and don't make the same mistake as I did by trying to spread out and play so many other games that you might be slightly interested or anything like that. It's a very simple thing, and I know a lot of people might have said this in other videos, but it's super important that you are aware about this kind of stuff, because if you're the type that really wants to tackle your backlog, you're definitely gonna have to consider just focusing on that. There's no other way but to prioritize it the best that you can. I know that there will be new games, new releases and stuff like that that might be enticing, but you will still have a lot of other games from your backlog, and eventually you'll just realize that they are piling up more and more. Now, the last tip as a bonus, and I've talked about this one multiple times, is to limit your new purchases. And this goes hand in hand with my last point. This is basically to reduce your backlog and not simply go for the newest game that came out, because a lot of the time, especially if you're a PC gamer, you're gonna encounter games with a lot of bugs, incompleted, early access, and stuff that just simply doesn't make sense, especially business practices where you have to pay for DLCs in order for you to have New Game Plus and other features like that. So you definitely don't want to have that kind of issue, and unless you're gonna play the game straight away and go for completion or maybe beat the game, it's all up to you. I don't see really the point of wasting money and just throwing it in the backlog when you can get it much later on when it's gonna be on a sale or a discount or anything like that. And there's many ways and many websites that you can check, like GG deals or is there any deal, and get the best deal for that game at any given time. So don't waste your money, don't waste your time, and focus on the games that are on your backlog. As I said before in my previous videos regarding the backlog, it is important that you don't make your backlog as albeit the ultimate thing that is gonna be the way you play games. Games should be played for fun. Backlogs are just a way to visualize and look at things in order for you to have the next game out there that you can be looking forward to. For me, backlog management is a fun thing to do, but at the end of the day, what I enjoy the most is actually playing the games. So if you're not enjoying playing the games, you feel burnt out or anything like that, do let me know. I'll be making a video particularly about burnouts because I would definitely want to do that in the future. So that being said, that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this kind of stuff? If you enjoyed it, which tips have helped you the most? Feel free to drop me a comment, let me know. Maybe you have some advices as well. So if you're probably tackling your backlog, since you're watching this video, of course, you're definitely gonna have a couple of things that you're applying and maybe I haven't covered in this video. So feel free to comment down below. I read all of them and I will be replying to all of them as well. As always, my name is Vashal and this has been a Tailplay tip video or guide video or whatever you want to call it. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, stay safe, take care, and happy gaming.